Great. So, sir, why don't we start with a small understanding of who Mr. Satish Kumar is? Because I'm sure a lot of students around the colleges might not know you, apart from being the general manager of the St. Regis Resort Goa.
So let me start. Where do I start? I think let me start with the 1998. Back in 1998, when I started my career in hospitality, unfortunately, we didn't have the facility what you have now, which is sitting at your homes and attending to this session. For us, the only way to interact or to gain wisdom or a knowledge was to go to a place called a cyber cafe, right? You need to go to the cyber cafe, pay in for 30 minutes, 1 hour. And at that time, I vaguely remember it was 50 rupees or 100 rupees for 30 minutes you spend in. And that's how you get to probably interact or send an email. So I started like most of you, what you are doing now. Back in 1998, I'm a hotel management graduate. I graduated from a college called as Regency College of Hotel Management. That's in Hyderabad. I completed my graduation in 2001, and I got selected as a management trainee with the Oberoi Center of Learning and Development. That's OCLD. Fantastic place to start your career or get your foundation right. And I did my graduation, the post-graduation for good 2 years with OCLD. Post that, I worked with the Oberoi Hotels for over good 5 years and moved on to Taj Hotels for 5 years. And it's been almost good 13 to 14 years ever since I have been with Marriott Hotels. And I have the privilege of managing one of the most iconic and beautiful resorts in India. It's called as the St. Regis Goa Resort. That's located in the south of Goa, and a resort which is nestled in 49 acres of land and 206 villas. If you haven't visited Goa, then one day I'm sure at least you get an opportunity to work in Goa. That's the biggest mistake I did. I never visited Goa on leisure, and hence I have a punishment in here to work in Goa. And I do not call it as a punishment for a simple reason, because it's fantastic to work in Goa and managing this beautiful resort, which has, I call it as a village by itself. It's a 206 rooms, but we got 650 employees, right? It's a small village by itself, right? So that's where it's been almost a year and a half I have been here. October 7th is when we opened the St. Regis Goa Resort. This is the first St. Regis Resort for the country and the second St. Regis Hotel. As you know, we are a part of Marriott International. And since then, it's been no looking back.
That's very interesting. So, sir, just trying to understand, do you also come, what do your parents do actually? Do they also hail from hospitality background, or did you have anyone around in hospitality? Because I think one of the major challenges amongst hospitality student remains that, oh, I would not excel in this career because I do not have anyone coming from hospitality. How was your part?
So very interesting question. Leave alone having someone in the family from a hospitality background. But if I recollect, I don't think so there was anyone from my entire district who was at that time from a hospitality background. So I come basically from Kerala, but born and brought up in Hyderabad, right? So at that time, hotel means, or hotel management means, it's all about being a chef. That's how the perception was, because I grew up watching Sanjeev Khanna, and these are the shows what you watch, right? Khana Khazana, and for them at that time, if you say that you are going to be doing a hotel management, they can only think of you as a chef. So I don't think so there was any influence at all. My influence started when I felt, how do I get a job as quick as possible? To be honest, that's how I started off, right? I didn't want to do a post-graduation. I didn't want to do, different fields. It was very clear, I will do one graduation and I must get a job. That's how I landed, because back in then, if you remember, it was written in every single ad of a hotel management, 100% guarantee placement. That was a hook for me. The minute I saw 100%, I'm sure I can be one amongst that 100% to find a job for myself. That's how I landed in hospitality, right? My parents, I come from a very humble background. My dad was an electrician. He used to work with the Coal India Limited. Mom, a housewife, three sons, and the eldest son. I got two younger brothers. So it was important for me to ensure that I get the job right immediately once I graduated. Right. So that's how I started off. So like all of you, I also started off in a very, very humble beginnings. And that's how I landed to the hospitality career.
Amazing. Very interesting to hear that, sir. So how has your career been? Because what I know that you were a management training in guest relations, and then you moved into housekeeping for a very long duration, and then moved into room divisions and so on and so forth. So how has your journey been, and how was it when you actually started with everything around till now?
So I think it's fair enough to say, I'm sure all of you can relate to this word called as internship, right? Or industrial training, right? Like most of you, I have gone through an industrial training program. And at that time, it was for us on the third year, right? The third year is when the industrial training program used to happen, unlike a second year in most of the colleges now. So I did my internship in the third year, and I did it from this hotel called as the Trident in Udaipur. 140 plus room hotel, very small hotel, and it had around 140 employees at that time, and that's where I did it. So like most of you, I did my internship in all the 4 departments, but I got hooked on to housekeeping, to be honest. So I'm a housekeeping management trainee from Oberoi. So I started in housekeeping. I started as a housekeeping attendant. So sometimes what happens is the head of the department or the leader where you are doing your internship has an influence on you, because they take care of you so well, they train you, they nurture you. That ends up being your favorite department, and that's how housekeeping became my favorite department, just because of the learnings what they gave. So I joined OCLE as a management trainee for housekeeping and worked through the Oberoi Mumbai as an assistant housekeeper. Then I became a housekeeper. And from there, I joined Taj. Taj is when I got my first break as an executive housekeeper. So I worked in Taj Fisherman's Co in Chennai, Taj Bengal, Kolkata, and Taj Mansingh in Delhi. For those of you from Kolkata and Delhi can relate to these hotels from Chennai too. So the last assignment which I had with Taj was as an executive housekeeper at Taj Mansingh in Delhi. From there, a 27-year-old young guy, very restless. What's next? That's when I knocked the doors of Marriott International. And that's when I got my first break with Marriott back in 2010 for Qatar. So that was the time, if you recollect, Doha also announced the FIFA World Cup. So 2010, when it announced the achievement of a FIFA World Cup, was when I joined actually Marriott in Qatar. So I joined them as a director of services, became a director of residences. And then I came back to India to open the first Ritz-Carlton in India, which was in Bangalore. I opened it as an executive housekeeper for the Ritz-Carlton in Bangalore, became an assistant director of rooms and the director of rooms. After that, I went back to Bahrain to handle multi-properties as director of rooms, became a director of operations, then the general manager at JW Marriott Jakarta. So if you think of every single role from an organizational perspective under a rooms division, I have gone through that. Right? So you don't become a general manager overnight. It's important to see through these roles and learn from each of these roles. And that's how eventually today, this is my third stint as a general manager for the St. Regis Goa. So most often what happens is if my duty manager comes and speaks to me, or a housekeeper, I can relate to them what they are going through, because I went through at certain stage of my career too.
Very humble. Very nice, sir. This is such an interesting journey because how many years in total, if I may ask?
Okay, so 23 years to be precise. And still haven't given up. Still haven't given up.
And still counting.
Yeah.
Okay, this is nice. So, sir, you also, as you mentioned, you started as a OCLD candidate where management trainee was something which taught you a lot, where a lot of investment from the organization also certainly goes into the, like, for example, Marriott has the Voyager program. And in that case also, I have been a Voyager myself and seen through the entire journey, grew as a food and beverage manager later in years. But I understand that how do you feel is a management trainee and working as a management trainee, but different from maybe getting into as an entry level employee? Is it different? Is it good? Because there's a lot of perspective, or let me say grapevine, going around in the industry that, oh, you should not join the industry if you are not a management trainee, and there's a lot going all around. So how
True,
would
true.
you take this through?
So a couple of things, right? You see a lot of general managers already or leaders working in the hospitality. The fact remains that not everyone is a management trainee. Yeah,
Very true.
but the fact
Very
is they are still the general managers and they are heading the hotels because there are only a handful of them. I think the biggest difference between coming to a management training program makes your leadership competencies much stronger at an early stage of your career, right? Because otherwise what will happen is you are learning these leadership qualities as you get along, as you go along your career journey. If you're a not management trainee, I would say that has been my biggest learning. Being a part of management training program at the age of almost 2021 taught me what it means to have a certain leadership competencies to be successful. Now, rest of them, there are a lot of general managers who are not management trainees, but they are equally or much better successful than me because of one simple reason: they learned it through every stage of their career. Right? 2 years of training for me is equivalent to their 2 years of on-the-shop floor learning too. I think the biggest key differentiator I would put it across as is the leadership competencies, what you learn. That's number one. Number two, you become much more disciplined, right? Because you got assignments to finish off on time and there is absolutely no compromise. I think the passion is ignited so well as a management trainee. I would say probably discipline is another thing which really differentiates as compared to others. So I would still give an importance as learning the leadership competencies is probably the primary reason why a management training program would be successful. Having said that, if you do not get an opportunity, I have my friends, we were a group of 60 people who graduated from the hospitality school, hotel management school, and there are still 20 of them general managers, right? It's just a matter of time. And when we go back, I spent 2 years in a management training program. Instead, they spent 2 years on the shop floor. But eventually, when we graduated and whatever we are in today, more or less the learnings are the same. So I think that's how I would put it across. So to all those ladies and gentlemen here, if you of you got the management training program, congratulations, very well done. Or if you are going to apply, please go ahead and apply for it. But the end route, wherever the destination, right? Let me tell you, whether you have taken this route or not taken this route, you will still be successful as a hotelier.
Very true. Because I know a lot of my ex-bosses or my colleagues who are now general managers, and these all people, some of them even started as entry level, as you mentioned, and some of them actually grew with me as OCLDs or in Accor or Marriott and other programs around the industry.
Right.
Really it doesn't make any difference, but as you said, the initial learning and learning experience could be a amazing part where the organization is spending so much amount of money in you, which could be a free of cost learning for you, where you will miss a lot in college, and that whole part would be added during that 1 year or maybe 2 years of training program.
Indeed.
Extensively in you.
Indeed.
Very well. Very true. I would not disagree on that part, sir. Also, when you started, I'm sure now you take interviews where you give a lot of hard time to people at times, I'm sure. But you must have also gone through interviews in your starting journey and your career journey. How was that? And do you remember any experiences coming out of your first interviews?
I think I can very clearly tell you my first interview was with yet another international hotel chain as a graduate, right? Just before joining the OCLD, because you end up in sitting for 2-3 interviews. The college would allow you to sit around 3 interviews. And if you get selected, then you can't sit for others because you want to give an opportunity for others too. So
same story goes till now.
Yeah, it's same, right? So the first one was at another international chain, very famous chain, very well renowned in India too. I attended the interview, and you know what? I got kicked out during the group discussion. Leave alone having a direct interview, because I was told directly on my face my English is not good enough for that company.
Okay.
Yeah, completely understand, because I have always, as much as I claim to study in an English medium school, because my dad used to work with Coal India Limited, but let me tell you, until the grade of 12th, I was always taught in Telugu. So Telugu was the language I learned, even a science or anything else. So I was absolutely not fluent in English at all. I became gradually fluent in English only once I joined Hotel Management College. When I started reading the Deccan Chronicle newspapers, Hindu newspaper, is when I actually started picking up English. Otherwise, my grammar was disaster. Let me tell you that. So I got kicked out, right? And that was a huge disappointment. I said that if I can't even make it for a group discussion, leave alone trying to impress someone over a personal interview, right? And then the second one was the Oberoi's, and I could crack through the group discussion. I did not know the person who was managing that, what did he see in me. But then eventually when I went on to the personal interview, there was a panel in OCLD, 5 to 6 individuals sitting right across to you and asking you questions, firing questions from all the end. Before they fired, I told them one thing, that, let me tell you that I'm not fluent in English, but I'll try to answer, but I need time, a bit, to answer your question. So you need to bear with me, and let me tell you that my English is really not that great. So I think the biggest learning which I would like to share with everyone is just be honest. And that's what I continue to live today. I did not go by how well someone is speaking in English. There are interviews wherein individuals have told me, Satish, we don't know English, hum Hindi mein baat kar sakte hain. And I went ahead and did an interview in the language what they are comfortable. Luckily, I know Telugu, Hindi, English, Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada. So I can cover all of these, including Hindi, right? So I have spoken to individuals in that language because I always hired the attitude till today as compared to skill and knowledge. I have had a candidate once in the interview said, Mr. Satish, looks like I'm going to fail in one of the subjects. I'm going to flunk, right? But I'm very keen to join. What's your advice for me? Right, okay, did you learn a lesson of not studying on time and going to be flunked in a couple of days? He said, I have learned a lesson. I think I partied too bit, took my life very easily, but I have learned a lesson. I said, okay, go ahead, provided you pass. I will take you back in precisely 3 months' time after you have done that course, right? So for me, the interview has been, I would summarize it as, number one, be yourself, be honest about it. And nowadays, let me tell you, along with me and my colleagues across who are in these positions, we hire the attitude. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't reiterate this word, how important it is. If you want to be successful in hospitality, that's one thing which is the most important ingredient, which is holding on to your attitude. Do not change as you succeed. So that would be one wise thing if I can share to the entire team here.
Very interesting, because I think that is one of the very important thing, as you mentioned, that the language barrier, and a lot of people still think that if you can speak good English, that means you're a good communicator, which might be, again, a lot of people might not understand the right definition to communication could be. But nevertheless, still the industry needs that language, so we really can't help in it, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So, sir, what is that one skill you feel during your interviews, or if you had to tell somebody else also as an advice, that one skill which you took out or one should build to crack any of the interviews around?
So in an interview, right, there are 3 things which I would put it across. I'm sure most of you probably would have heard of this phrase. It's called as ASK, A-S-K, right? A stands for attitude, as I mentioned, very, very critical. S stands for skills, and K stands for knowledge. And the importance of that is in this order: attitude, skills, knowledge. Attitude is something which we can't teach you, that you carry it with yourself as an individual. Skills is something which your hotel management school will impart to you. So please ensure you get as many basic skills as possible to present to yourself that with the right attitude and mix of these skills, that I can become a better hotelier. To be honest, from a knowledge perspective, every organization has got different set of standards. We don't expect you to have a 10 on 10 when it comes to knowledge, but we want you to know the basic skills and some basic knowledge. We are pretty confident that when you join us, we can brush up your knowledge and complete that ask with you with your right attitude. So my biggest ask from each one of you is that the skills what you learn in 3 years of your hotel management career, whatever the stream what you're choosing, please ensure that you pay attention. Number two, most often what I see is we take internship little granted. Okay, that's going to be 4 months of fun time. And for me, let me tell you, when I interview, I wouldn't ask any one of my candidates the first year or the third year in the college, but I would speak to you more often about what did you do during your internship program, because that's what grooms you, I would say, clear-cut hotelier more than anything else. So the biggest skill is learn. I'm very generalizing it, because if I pick up one skill, it wouldn't help you. But the amount of skills what you pick up from your internship program is what grooms you for a successful hotelier. So that's how I would put it across, Vikram.
Could we also say brand values? Like, for example, tomorrow if I'm interning at St. Regis, Goa, and interning at your hotel, I might also learn the brand values, understanding the brand more. How does the brand programs work around St. Regis, and how do the culture part works around St. Regis? Would that also matter a lot when I sit for the interview, maybe in for a management training or any other interviews around?
To be honest, no, because we wouldn't expect you to be prepared for an interview about the brand values or a commitments of an organization. Because look at from an ideal candidate who is attending an interview. An ideal candidate is attending interview for 10 different group chains or group of hotels. We don't expect you to be preparing for all the chains and expect to answer, right? Instead, what we do is, you need to ensure that you are able to sell as to why you will fit into our culture. Right?
Correct.
Marriott as a company always believed in putting people first, which is believing in the team members and nurturing their talent. Why do you want to start with a Marriott? If I were to ask that question, you should be able to answer that, right? It can be from a form perspective, say, because Marriott is the right place to start for a simple reason. I have seen several leaders starting from the ground and reaching up to the level, and I want to be one among them. Number two, I want to join Marriott for a simple reason: it takes care of its employees. It can be as simple as that. And I value that human employees, the way they are treated or taken care makes a lot of difference. Third one, it can be as simple as I want to get my basics right. And there is no better ground than Marriott, which has got 140 hotels in India. And in every city you think of, there is a Marriott hotel. It gives me an opportunity to move from city to city and grow in a much faster pace as compared to rest of the hotels, right? So I think this is how we expect you to be prepared in terms of choosing an organization. Vikram, we picked up a very good ask, how important it is. Probably that is something which everyone needs to be prepared. Why are you applying for this organization? That's very, very important.
Correct. Also, sir, I believe there is a lot of academic and industry gap. What I have realized in the last 3 months, where I have been training, I've been working around a lot of students. So we see that there is a lot of gap between the industry and the colleges. So because the industry expects you to be more analytical, be more logical in taking, because you will be making in later stage of your career, making a lot of strategies, making a lot of, let me say, marketing plans for your restaurant or for your hotel, how to make it more present or maybe increase the footfall. But a lot of colleges at the moment are not focusing on that segment, or maybe as we talk about a lot of guest experience also. Because when we come out of colleges, we know a lot about technical part, how maybe mousse is made, or maybe how is the service done, or maybe what is a la carte, what is beer, basics around, but we might not understand how to create that guest experience. So because I think a lot of students who are present with us would love to understand, would guest experience management, what we call it as, would it matter in a management training being hired? And how important would that be?
So I would rate from an importance perspective 10 out of 10, right? because this is the one area which can break a hotel or make a hotel. Okay. Let me put it across that the hotels, the way they are mushrooming up now, the number of hotels, whether you think of a 5-star luxury hotel to a 3-star, it's all about how can you keep your guests with you. So which means loyalty has become key. And you can only win loyalty when you are emotionally connected with a guest. The guest, why do you think a guest landing at a Goa airport, when they got 25 to 30 luxury hotels, business hotels, should choose the St. Regis Goa only, which is 55 minutes away, when he's got a hotel 10 minutes away? Number one is loyal to the brand. Number two, the guest is super confident that this is one hotel which absolutely takes care of my needs without even asking for it, right? Let me tell you, let me share some couple of examples. I'll give you 2 examples. One, how important it is that you can take care of a guest even as an individual or with a family. And then how can we make an impact if there is a group of even 200 rooms, you can still manage it, right? So there was this couple with 2 young children who arrived to our resort in 3 to 4 months ago, right? And all of you know, this is a St. Regis Goa resort. It's a beach resort. We have a direct beach access from the resort. But it is around 100 meters from where we drop off the guests to get into the beach. So we want the guests to experience walking with their bare feet, because ours is all about bare feet luxury. We expect guests to walk around these 49 acres bare feet. So this particular family, we observed after checking in, they were only spending time in the restaurant and not going into the beachfront at all. Beach is fantastic. We know the reason. One of the reasons is there are 2 kids, an elder brother who was around 11 years and a sister who was around 7 years. And we have seen for 1-2 days, they do not venture into the beach. And we went ahead. Of course, obvious question is that, we understand the eldest son is actually in a wheelchair. And hence, they compromised because there is no way they can take the kid into a wheelchair. And because of that, even the sister lost the opportunity. And sister at that age was so accommodative that she was happy to play with the brother in the restaurant. You know what? It didn't take much time for my team to build a wooden plank ramp of 100 meters from the restaurant to the beach throughout their stay, so they have a direct access. How much did it cost? It absolutely doesn't cost anything, right? It's a hotel, you have enough of planks, team members putting together. So that ramp was created out of 206 rooms for this one particular guest. Now, this is an unexpressed wish. The guest hasn't expressed, now please create a wooden plank to take my kid, right? But I'm sure they are missing out that opportunity, which was observed and created by the team. You know what? The guest is in touch with me through WhatsApp every month and keeps sending the photographs of the kid. Now the guest is coming back in 2 months' time, and we are already planning how can we build a plank in such a way during monsoons they can still go to the beach. Now, a powerful story such as this, right, is what makes a brand, and that is what guest experience is all about. That's number one. So you might be thinking, and most of you might think, okay, one guest, it is easy to create. Like, let me give an example of this particular wedding we were hosting in the month of November last year, right? And as you know, it's a beach hotel. So the wedding is supposed to be happening on the beach front. We didn't expect when we signed up that on that fine morning, there would be a heavy shower. The wedding was to happen in the evening at 6:30. And in the morning around 7:30, heavy showers, unexpected showers in Goa started in November in the morning. The next thing I hear is my team got back to me. The F&B manager said the family is very stressed out and the bride's mother is unconsolable. She's just, no one can console her. Everything is said and damaged because of this rain, and there's nothing I can do. I'm still just a general manager. I can't change the weather, right? But I went in there and I could see the entire family getting stressed out. What if the rain continues even today evening? There is no way we can have the wedding there. So we borrowed 1 hour from the parents. We said, give us 1 hour because you have taken. So what case I want to do is to create a wedding banquet. But for them, if you have to do it in a ballroom, why do we come all the way to Goa? We could have done it anywhere else, any which way, a ballroom, right? So we wanted to make it a wedding happen, but in a very different form. We borrowed 1 hour, and after 1 hour, we brought the guest, the parents of bride and the groom, to the lobby, and they were shocked to see the entire lobby was emptied in 1 hour's time, completely, right? So that's the power of 650 employees. We emptied the entire lobby. Bear in mind, we still had some other guests checking in. And then we set up all the ballroom chairs in 4 sides and a place for the mandap. In the center, we said, worst case scenario, your wedding will still happen in this beautiful lobby, which you never give it a lobby for a wedding, right? And there are a lot of other guests checking in. And I was there with my executive committee team apologizing to the guests who was shocked that, they are checking into a luxury hotel, not even a single furniture, and it is all like a wedding scenario. So we were going to table, every single guest at the time of check-in and apologizing them, this was unfortunate, but we want to make it happen for the wedding. There is nothing else we can do. And when we started apologizing, one of the guests who was traveling with their kids, he said, Satish, you don't need to apologize. You know what? By doing this, you restored so much of faith that my daughter, who is with me now, 6-year-old, if she is getting married, I will actually bring her to the St. Regis Goa as a wedding destination, because that's the extreme you guys can go and make it happen. Luckily, it didn't rain in the evening and the wedding went well. So when it comes to guest experience, right, it's not about any more personalization. Personalization, everyone can do it. But it is about offering that service which they didn't expect it to happen, because you are connecting with the guest at a very, very high emotional level. And to connect with a guest on a very high emotional level, it is very important for you to actually connect with the guest through communication. You need to speak to the guest. Understand. If you shy away and do not speak to the guest, there is no way you will connect emotionally. And we love employees who actually stand there on the shop floor, spend maximum time interacting with the guest. I would be the last person to say, why are you spending so much time with the guest? 1 guest as compared to 10 guests. No. In a luxury space, it's about timeless and offering that timely service. And it is important that you connect with the guest, right? So that's the reason we have gone through, our check-in is no more escorting, sitting in the desk. No. We treat our employees at the front desk and the guest equally. So they go sit with the guest and comfortable take the 10-15 minutes to do a check-in experience to understand more. And once the check-in is done, we have various WhatsApp group. They put across, this guest is checked in, they came for an anniversary, they came for a birthday, they came for a graduation, the daughter is in the boarding school, this is their first holiday, this is the 3rd holiday, this is the last holiday, and then you personalize everything across. I hope these 2 examples have given an understanding of what it means from a guest experience perspective.
Very true. Very right, sir. That could have nothing been better than giving these 2 examples. And I think the first one was such a marvelous one where the entire team came up, because I also think that it comes from the leadership, maybe from you also, bringing that team together. And I see a lot of activities which you do also at your team level. I see a lot of programs you generally put it on LinkedIn or maybe other platforms around, mentioning about that this is what we are doing. And I see a very interesting program which was going through was the one-day general manager program, through which I got super inspired that all the employees had that 1 day of opportunity to actually come and experience what a general manager could do or what it could be like. So how important culture would be in making guest experience, and how would you relate this entire thing together?
So let me take it back, right? So I spoke about how important it is for an employee to connect at an emotional level with the guest. Correct. Right? So it is all about, it starts with you as an individual at the back of the office or heart of the house, whatever you call it. As you rightly mentioned, right? The guardian of the culture, there are 2 people. I always keep saying this in my hotel. One is the general manager. Number 2 is the director of human resources. If either of these individuals are slow at this, it doesn't take months, it will just take a day to damage the culture in a hotel. So I always say the speed of the hotel is the speed of the general manager. And it is important for you to connect with your employees as well. So when you spoke about every single program, what we do at our employee level, it is all about how do we connect with them emotionally. Then it is easier for them what it means to connect with the guests as well. That's how it is. So you can't be doing nothing about it and expecting your employees to connect with the guests. I think it starts everything from the leadership to the employees. So several programs, let it be as simple as having a meal at the cafeteria. We are very clear as a leadership team, none of us eat in any restaurants unless we are doing an audit. Each one of us eat the same food what every single employee in the hotel eats. That's in the hotel cafeteria, right? Number two, we still spend a lot of money in learning and development of our employees. That's one area I don't mind exceeding the budget every month, because that's an investment and I'll make it up easily over the months to come, right? And you speak about this one-day general manager. This is something which I started because everyone wants to become a general manager, but no one understands what it means. What does a general manager do from a morning till evening, other than wearing a fantastic suit and walking around the hotel? Does he actually do anything at all, right? So it is important for them to step into that shoes. That's how this one-day general manager program came in. So we invited candidates to apply for it. So it's not random pickup. It's not a favoritism. Individuals have to apply for it, and the HODs interview them and pick up one person. And in return, what we do is we go all out in preparing a suit for that individual, because that's a gift from us to be selected as a one-day general manager. Starts in the morning, 8:30, the way the general manager would start, and is a part of every single meeting a general manager. There is nothing confidentiality there. Right from the morning until night, the gentleman is with me. Sumit was the one-day general manager. He was with me for every single meeting. Yeah, we have told the guest as well, he's the one-day general manager. He walks in every single area at the heart of the house. He's no different, right? Now, how it helps is, once he's come in, the next day when he gave us a feedback, Mr. Satish, we always spoke about taking care of the guest for the day, business for the day. And at its best, we prepare for tomorrow. But spending this one day with you, you are speaking about 2024, 2025. So you are building strategies for the next 2 years for employees, for guests, and for the resort, right? And to be so way ahead, there is so much more for me to learn to reach to that level, right? So if you are able to do this, at least one person gets inspired every month. Imagine in 4 years or 3 years I am here, the number of people who get inspired to become a general manager, right? And the other reason I tend to do all of these programs, every program what I do, there is a reason behind it. I missed it when I was growing up in my career. I wish I had at that time all these platforms, right? So everything what you see in several profiles is something which I have learned it in the past, and that's what I'm implementing now for our fellow colleagues.
Very interesting. Now you make me inspired after 12 years. I want to come back to your hotel. Maybe start as a...
Thank you, Vikram. Thank you.
No, that's really amazing. And I think there's so much around to be learning. And actually, I wanted to ask you because we all now know the right recipe which goes around kind of looking for right guest experience management, because that is something which colleges generally or academics does not touch. And I would also want to understand what is that what would be that recipe which would kill the guest experience? How could you actually try and kill guest experiences, or maybe something which you will want to talk about, maybe 1 or 2 points?
So you mean to say, when you say kill the guest experience, is creating a wow factor? That's what you're referring to?
No, killing the guest experience.
Damaging it. Okay,
We know the right correct. We know the right way of doing it, but we always need to know what need not to be done, because I think we always know that what needs to be done, but we kind of always miss out on the factor that what need not to be done, because once you know that, you at least would not do that.
Yeah,
Rest,
yeah, yeah.
whatever you do is okay still.
Yeah. So first and foremost thing, if you have a poor listening skills, I think that's something which you need to improve upon right now, right? Most often what happens is people get too impatient and do not listen to the guest carefully when they're speaking to you, because it is a tick in the box for you. Chalo, check in ho gaya, chalo serve kar diya, khatam karo, right? I think it's important for you to be living in the minute, right? I tell my sales team, we do something like called as, site visits or recce, right? When guests come in before making a bigger decision. It is a absolute written rule at our hotel. When you are doing a site inspection to any of the guests, let it be me, let it be my boss, or anyone calling you, you will disconnect the call. You will not answer the call, because you have to give importance to the guest who is with you now. The worst thing to do is, you are doing a site inspection, you pick up a business call of someone else and speaking to their business when you have a business standing in front of you. So I think first and foremost, listening skills, right? Number two, if you are not having willingness to touch the hearts of the guest, go that extra mile, you will never be successful, right? Until 10 years ago, it was all about, okay, do the basics, tick in the box, you're sorted. It's no more basics. It's about that one step extra. 20 years ago, it was half a step extra. Now, 21 years ago, it's just not enough. Whatever you do is still not enough, because guests are so well traveled. They understand what's luxury. They understand what's expected from hotels. So number three, let me tell you, every single day is truly a different day in a hotelier's life. Not even a single day is the same day, and you should know how to enjoy. If you're finding it every single day as boring, I don't know what else is there in any other industry which can make it so vibrant, right? My brothers keep telling me, they are software engineers. They say that, at a drop of a hat, we can just drop our jobs, come in, because we see you doing every day completely different. Because they come, they stay with me, they experience it. I think that's something which you need to enjoy, right? And that's where the guest experience matters a lot. Every day you're meeting different guests, different expectations, different listening, stories, atmosphere. What all it's fun, and you're blessed to be in that atmosphere to do all of this. And the day you start enjoying this more than doing a job, let me tell you, you will also finish similar to me, 23 years. Don't do this as a job. Take it as a passion, as a hobby, and just give 100% to it, and you will start enjoying it. There are difficulties, let me tell you. There are struggles, no doubt. But you know what? As they say, right? Every challenge thrown at you is only making you much stronger than yesterday.
Very true. So before we actually open for the Q&A, I think we had a lot of brainstorming and all that going on here, with a lot of very interesting stories from you. I would just love to ask you 3 quick questions.
Sure.
One amongst being, if you wanted to give one career advice in 3 to 5 words to all these students who are listening and who would be listening this as a recorded session as well, what would that career advice will be that was given to you, or maybe you would like to give them?
So I will use probably these 3 words. Yeah. They may sound very simple, easy. You would have heard it probably 100 times, but let me put it across from my perspective. Number 1, believe in yourself. Team, do not expect others to believe in you if you do not believe in yourself. And I always tell this to my team, if I can make it from a housekeeping attendant, management trainee, as a general manager of the prestigious St. Regis Goa Resort, you can make it too. You had much better tools, and you have much better tools as compared to what I had 21 years ago, right? So believe in yourself. Let the world not believe in you. The day you start believing in yourself, the path will be created for you. That's number 1. Number 2, relentless. Yesterday you did a great job. Don't be happy with that. Today, please ensure that you do a better job. And tomorrow, much better than today. It is every day relentless. So number 1, believe in yourself. Number 2, relentless. Number 3, I spoke about, you need to be happy doing whatever you're doing. And my way of putting that word is passionate, right? You need to be so much passionate. It should be like a well. Every single day, It's just filling up with the amount of passion from a water as compared to losing, say, no, man, I'm done with it. I can't make it happen. Right? So these are the three things. But the most important thing, which is my success story, is believing in myself. When you inculcate this habit at the age of 20, 21, whatever you are in, let me tell you, when you touch a 40, the power of believing in yourself is something completely different that no one can challenge you. Okay?
Very true. Very true. So nowadays, this is also a very interesting perspective. What we see that students are missing on a lot of skills, maybe because of COVID or because of so many reasons going all around. What is that one skill you might assess students on or a pressure on, and what do you think they should actually start inculcating from day one or from now onwards?
So I don't know if you want to put this under skill. I would put it under skill because that's the only thing which matters to me when I am hiring someone from a hotel management. That I call it as discipline.
Discipline.
Yeah, you get the discipline, everything else is sorted. And that's also one of the things which I'm missing in the current world. People say 3:30, I schedule a lot of interviews and I have logged in sharp 3:30, but the fact is the candidate is not at 3:30 and got delayed by 10 minutes. You know what? I don't interview that person unless the reason is that, they met with an accident, something happened at a home, stuff like that. But the fact is that, discipline is very, very key. You get that, everything else should be sorted.
Okay. Before we actually move around, I really want to ask you this. Do you have a scariest or maybe a very absurd interview to share with us?
Sorry?
A very absurd or maybe a scary interview situation you might have gone through recently? Would you have something to share with us,
I would not say recently. There is one thing which, is still, I did not understand how did it happen. Back a couple of years ago, I was hiring in one of the Middle East countries, right? So we had shortlisted a candidate. So I have my assistant manager, all of them, they shortlisted. So they gave me this bunch of CVs. And then when it comes to me, we set up a Skype call, right? And we interview the person, and then next day offer gets released, visa, and comes back. So there was this one individual from some other part of the world for a front office assistant. All the feedback, my front office manager gave a 5 out of 5, fantastic candidate, everything. So, but the condition was this person cannot come on a Skype call because where he's located, it's not working. So he can just do only telephonic call. Now we understand, right? There are countries where probably internet is challenging. So I ended up in interviewing this person, spoke to him over a call, 5 out of 5, hired the person. Fantastic during the interview. After 1.5 months, visa is issued. The gentleman joins. And we have a new joiners afternoon tea in that hotel as a ritual on the first day. Went ahead looking out because I was heading the rooms division, passionate about my team who joined, went in, introduced myself. Guess what? This boy cannot utter a single word of English. I don't know who gave me that interview, but I remember it's the same name, it's the same person I have interviewed, right? That sort of shook me. Wow, things like that to happen, right? You got a CV, you hired that person, someone else speaking to you, and you give a 5 out of 5, send a visa to the person who is on the CV with the passport copy, and that person turns up. And then we did the investigation. We spoke to him. We told him that's a wrong thing. Then he said, actually, it was one of my friend who gave the interview because I was desperate to come to Middle East.
This sounds so much like a dating app to me.
Yeah.
But that's funny. That's funny. Thank you, Satish sir, for so much of lovely time and sparing out so much of stories of yours with us, sharing all those experiences. I will open this session for Q&A for everyone. So
Sure.
everyone, just to make sure that we adhere to some, we do not create a fish market out here. So we will follow some quick ground rules that we will keep our mics muted because it will be a havoc, or I would always suggest that you just raise your hand and we can quickly give you a chance to unmute yourself and ask the question. Please. Everyone, you can ask your questions. Happy to answer them. Yes, Vasu, do you have a question? Vasu Charles? Okay. We have Shubha.
Oh.
Lakshmi? Shubha, do you have your question?
Good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening.
So, how are you?
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Hope you're well too.
Yes. So, can I start with my doubt?
Please, please.
Yes. So, being an experienced person, and according to you, what do you think that a fresher or a IHM as a student should start their career with business hotel or wedding hotel or a retail? So, according to you,
Oh,
what do you
lovely.
think?
This is
Because
brilliant question, Shubha. This is
because it's
fantastic question.
Yeah, thank you. Because it's been a great confusion for me because I have seen my seniors choosing, few are choosing retail and few are choosing hotel industry and few are really confused to go to the business hotel or instead of going to the resort or to a wedding destination hotels. So I'm really confused right now because I'm in second year. I'll be moving to third year by next month. So I want to get a clear clarification for this.
Sure. So, my recommendation is to pick up a hotel which makes you stronger in terms of your foundation, right? Because you are still in a learning stage. And the best way to build this foundation right is to take a hotel where there is a right mix of customer. To be honest, I wouldn't say to go to a hotel which does only 365 days wedding. I don't think so. There is a hotel in India because with our seasonality, there is always a leisure, there is always a business, and there is then you have wedding segment. So pick up a hotel which has got the right mix and join that hotel. Whether it is a 100-room hotel, 200, 300, it doesn't matter, but get the right mix of the hotel.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Rishabh, do you want to ask your question?
Yes. Hello. Good evening. Very good evening.
Hi, Rishabh.
Satish, sir. Hi. How are you, sir?
Fantastic. Thank you, Rishabh. Hope you're well too.
Yes, sir. I'm very well. Thank you for asking. So I just wanted to ask you something. I was really intrigued about one thing. Like the first day when you become a general manager, I believe you face certain challenges. So were you a bit like overwhelmed, or you saw those things coming towards you and you were prepared for those things?
So, number one, you picked up a right word, and that happens when you become a first-time general manager, which is you get overwhelmed. Because until that role, you had an umbrella of yet another general manager when you are a hotel manager. There is always someone, right? But are you lost? No, you are not lost for a simple reason because you have officiated in the absence of the general manager the hotel multiple number of times, right? In 365 days, probably not necessarily all the 365 days you have your general manager with you to support, right? But you're also being prepared for this in a very slow fashion, right? First, you take care of a department, then you grow up, you take care of 3 departments, from 3 became a 6, then became a 9, right? So you are building up slowly to handle this role. So yes, you do get overwhelmed because all of a sudden everyone is looking at you, all the decisions are at you. Some, not necessarily that every decision what you take is going to have a 100% success rate, but the fact is that the buck stops at you, gets you a little overwhelmed, but not lost at all. And it doesn't stay for too long, let me tell you. And that's where I said the word, believe in yourself. It stays for good 3 to 4 days. Then after that, in the routine, you start building your own culture in the hotel that it becomes a part of your routine.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Rishabh.
Great. Thank you, sir, for answering that. I see there is a lady with us, Kanishka. Do you want to ask your question, Kanishka?
Yes, sir, I would love to. Hello, sir.
Hi, Kanishka.
I'm really great that you still shared the customer experience stories with us. It was very, very beautiful and very, you know, good. As a customer, I would have loved the property and I would have always gone there. So thank you so
Excellent.
much for that experience, sharing that experience.
Pleasure,
Uh,
Kanishka.
Yes, sir. I have a question that if during the industrial training, if you might not have very good relations with the L&D department, and I wish to go back to that hotel because my experience was amazing, and I really look forward to work with that department again. But the L&D department and I do not share very good relations. So during the interview rounds, does the things change for me than others? Like, will the grudges be there or something like that, or does it change, or what really
So,
happens?
yeah, no, so to be honest, it doesn't happen, Kanishka, that we keep the grudges or what went wrong, to be honest, from an industrial training perspective, because we expect you to make mistakes. That's the reason you are with us, so that you, if not 100%, you learn something out of it. So there is nothing wrong. We don't hold any grudges. Let me tell you on the other note, we have started something called as an internship expo. So after 4 months of your training, we give you an opportunity to present a good 2 to 3 hours to the entire hotel on something what you have learned, right, in the ballroom. So imagine in our resort, we had 100 interns, each intern presenting something or the other. Someone presented how to make a bed, someone presented how to make a cocktail, someone presented how to make a pancake, right? That's the last day of your internship, to get everyone to a level playing field. And then, of course, we make it much more competitive. That's when the fun is. And then we issued a open offer letter for top 20 performers out of this expo. That's the confidence in us. So this is an offer letter from you at this second year, being given by the St. Regis Goa Resort. If you are interested, please join us after 1 year. An open offer letter. So I think we have gone beyond the grudges. We would like to ensure that you join us back. I think that's the interest of every single hotel, because you know the resort really well, wherever, or the hotel you trained. Best thing is, to have a known devil than an unknown one, right? So we love our industrial trainees to come and join us back.
Oh my God. Thank you. That's so great. Thank you.
Pleasure, Kanishka.
Harsh, would you like to take your question, please?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Hi, Harsh. Yeah.
Sir, I want to ask you that what's your greatest strength and the weaknesses, as you are also have something.
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Sir, what's your greatest strength and weaknesses?
Mine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me tell you, I think my greatest strength has been, that's something which hasn't changed in the last 23 years, is my team. Yeah. Because I am as good as I can get only because of my team. They ensure that I am always looking good in front of everyone else. So the strength is purely the team. It hasn't changed. Number two, I wouldn't call as, any one of us have weaknesses at all. It's always, opportunity to improve, right? So every year, I too go through areas of opportunities, because I'm changing country to country. I'm changing my roles. I'm working with different teams. So every time when you go ahead and work in some place, that area of opportunity becomes completely different, right? For example, what is the biggest area of opportunity for me here is to ensure that the St. Regis Goa Resort, which is located in a remote South Goa, is known not only in India, but the entire South Asia as the best resort and India can ever have. So how much more can I market my resort? That's where now I am investing a lot of time in learning the space so-called as, which is everyday changing, the digital marketing, right? So I am also learning the way you are learning, and learning never ends. So that's how I see myself, as learning something or the other.
Okay. And sir, can you tell me what the strategy you can use to communicate with lots of people at the same time?
Oh, lovely. So I have used several platforms. So number one, let me put it at my hotel. What do I do? And otherwise outside the hotel. Within the hotel, we have everyday briefings going on. So that's a smaller department. I try to attend as many briefings as possible. But there is a town hall meeting which happens every month. So I get all my team members and address at one go, right? But most importantly, I think I tend to spend more time individually in smaller groups of people, calling them from random group discussions or a brainstorming. So that keeps me going. Number two, outside the hotel, recently it's been almost 3 months ever since I started a program on LinkedIn. It's called as How May I Assist You, right? So that's a program. I invite people all across the world, come and join me for 1 hour like this. And it's not about me presenting something or someone asking me questions. Anyone any number of questions. Someone who is from a hotel management graduate to someone who is a director of sales and marketing to someone who is a front office manager, they can ask me any questions about hospitality for 1 hour, and that's one way of interacting. And my posts at the LinkedIn, Instagram, and all of that keeps me motivated to interact with the people. So it's not just one platform, I would say. It's multiple platforms based on the audience.
So have you dealt it with some unhappy customer? And if yes, then how would you handle them?
See, we are human beings. We all make
Yes, sir.
mistakes. At a home, imagine a family of 5, mother, father, brothers and sisters, right? Now, all
Yes,
these
sir.
3 brothers and sisters, they cannot get along seamlessly, easily in a family where the blood is flowing through common one. So yeah, here speaking about having 600 employees trying to give another 200 guests who are completely different. So there are issues, there are unhappy customers, but what is important is when there is an unhappy customer, ensure that you listen to them, pay attention, and everyone gives you an opportunity for a service recovery. When you do a service recovery to that extent that it becomes a wow for them, yeah, they made a mistake, but they covered it so well, which we didn't even expect. So I think the strong service recovery will not result in a disappointed customer. But we do have disappointed customers in hotels. We are the only industry which is dealing with human emotions, right? Imagine, each one of us have our own mood swings when we wake up, right? The best mood, the not so great mood. Imagine a similar thing with a guest at the hotel, right? But you should know how to manage that.
Great. I think, sir, we have Vasu making or trying to ask a question. For
Yeah,
very
sure.
long. Vasu,
Go ahead.
Vasu, would you like to ask your question, or maybe Hetal, Ankit? Okay. Rajvardhan?
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Okay. Hetal, please go ahead.
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Hi, Hetal.
Hi, sir. So, as you have experienced a lot of diversity in your career, as you said, you were a part of OCLD and then further you joined Marriott. So, according to you, which brand or property is the best inside out? As you know, most of the hotels have backhouse standards too. Like everything is not like as the same experience as it is for the guest. The employees experience a different side of the industry. So right now I'm in third year. I've already done my training and I've also cleared the interview for JW Marriott Pune. So I want further guidance on which brand or property according to you is the best.
So I think the answer lies within the statement what I made in my career history, right? If it has been 12 years, I'm still stuck onto the Marriott International. I love the Marriott for a simple reason. From a growth development perspective, I don't think so there is a hotel chain yet which really prepares you so well when it comes to your own personal growth and development. So the fact that I still haven't looked back and changing any other companies yet and continue to work with Marriott speaks for itself.
So if if a student gets the opportunity as a Voyager and similarly as a OCLD program, which one choice would be the good choice?
Oh, that's a tricky question. Now you ask me between a Voyager and an OCLD, right? I think it is important for you to weigh both of them in terms of what is your long term. For me, back in then, we didn't have any opportunities at all other than the OCLD or a Taj management training program, right? At that time, for me, it was important to choose what will build my basics right. So I went ahead and chose at that time OCLD because there was nothing available, right? Now with the choice what you are given with, I think it's important for you to weigh where do you see yourself, if not 10 years down the line, at least 5 years down the line, and take the right decision. I think it would be very unfair for me to pick up one because both of them are equally good.
Thank you so much, sir.
Pleasure, Heath.
Ankit, I think that was a tricky one for that.
Yeah.
Ankit, would you like to ask your question? And post Ankit, we will just take one more question as we have exceeded the time already. So just one more question, maybe whosoever has the lucky one. But I will give you an opportunity to ask as many questions by one other way. So stick till the last, I would say. Ankit or Chinmay, Jatin, would you have a question to ask?
Yes, sir, I am ready.
Chinmay, please go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Hi, Chinmay.
Sir, how are you?
Very good, Chinmay. Thank you. Hope you're well too.
Yes, I am well too. Sir, my question is that, sir, what is the criteria and what are the main points which we have to keep in mind while giving an empty interview for a front office department?
Okay, so front office department, couple of things. Number one is presence of mind is very important because you are actually facing the guest, and probably that's one department which has huge expectations from a guest perspective, because the fact that the guest came in to do a check-in, paid you the money, inadvertently you become responsible for everything what goes on. So how to handle it, I would say presence of mind. Number two, improve your communication skills, because you are going to speak to the guests from various backgrounds. So it's important that you continuously improve on that. Number three, it is important for you to understand how quickly can you act upon it if there is an incident, right? So these are the qualities to become a successful management trainee who wants to start their career at the front office.
Okay, sir. If we are starting at an initial phase, so what is the main criteria for becoming an MT interviewer?
As I mentioned to you previously as well, believe in yourself. Go for it. Why
Okay,
would
sir.
they choose anyone else other than Chinmay?
Yes, sir. So
That position is meant for Chinmay.
Yes.
Go for it, Chinmay.
thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, great people. Thank you for all your questions. I know that you are very excited to ask Satish sir a lot of questions, but let me give you a quick opportunity here that you can connect with Satish sir over LinkedIn. I am not sure how would that work, but feel free to follow him on Instagram, follow him on LinkedIn, where you can have an opportunity to also ask him questions. Also, you can DM us questions at TBH Circle, and we'll be very happy to take down some questions, and maybe in coming few months or maybe whenever Satish sir finds more time on his hand with his busy schedule, we might ask him to take down your questions and answer in a short video format as well. So feel free to DM sir, or TBH Circle would be a better platform, so I'm sure he would not be disturbed. So you can always DM us your questions. We'll be happy to take it forward to Satish sir and get you answered all the questions what are the best way possible. In case you are still not following TBH Circle, you can go ahead. We are available on Instagram, LinkedIn by no other name. So TBH, to be honest, Circle. And if in case you would love to connect with sir, so by Satish Kumar, St. Regis Goa Resort General Manager, you can absolutely find him over LinkedIn, over Instagram, and other platforms as well. Great. Thank you, Satish sir, once again for sparing so much of time and giving this opportunity. It was a lovely conversation. I am not sure.
Saturday, I thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you so much, team. And you have a fantastic audience. As Vikram mentioned, please do connect with me on LinkedIn. I try to respond to each one of you as much as possible.
Great.
Thank you, sir.
Such a pleasure speaking
Thank
to
you,
this audience.
Satish sir. Thank you so much for coming here and enlightening us with a lot of insightful stories, I would say. Thanks a lot. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Everyone, thank you for being here. Just a last round. If you have any questions, you can always come on board, DM us on TB@Circle. Before we move out of the session, we would love that you can switch on your cameras. We can click a quick picture for the session and we'll take a farewell. Also, if in case you are interested for coming on board and doing some programs where you are thinking that you wish to prepare for your future management training programs, then we have a great opportunity for you where you can come and learn with industry experts. So me being one of them, apart from that, Chandan, other few general managers who are part of these programs, you can come on board, come, which is known as the Young Leaders Bootcamp. It's a 20 days, 15 to 20 days of a training program where you will learn anything starting from guest experience management to preparing you for your interview skills, working around with aggressive interview questions, situation handling, behavior management. Once your training is done, you will have access to one-to-one mentorship with industry experts, so that till the time you have cracked one of your management training programs, we offer you assistance so that you are landing into a good hotel with a right career path. So if in case you are interested, we will share you the brochure across. You can reach out to any of the team members over Instagram, any other social media platforms, or if you are attached with us over WhatsApp, you can also WhatsApp us for any further details. Wishing you all the best. Take pictures, take lovely pictures. I'm sure you must have clicked beautiful screenshots with Satish Kumar as well. You can post them and tag Satish, TBH Circle, and me as well. My name is Vikram Kukreja. Happy to connect over LinkedIn, and will be happy to answer if you have any questions further. All the best. Take care. Have a lovely evening.